My book, The Liberal Education, Changing Society, is about the liberal education in the Chinese higher education system. And basically, I explore how do the Chinese faculty members, the students, and the policymakers, administrators understand the emergence of the liberal education in Chinese education system, what our challenges are, how do people through the liberal education to train students with critical thinking, creativity, and innovative skills. The difference between the Western and Chinese tradition on liberal education is in the Chinese tradition, the term liberal education is more about the freedom and democracy. But somehow this term is very sensitive in the Chinese education system and even by the government. So they use the term the cultural quality education to replace the liberal education. While in the Western tradition, we are very familiar with this term to train students with critical thinking, creativity, and social responsibility through multiple disciplinary studies for students in the higher education institutions. I believe that the service learning is a very important portion or part of the liberal education to train our students to be a more socially and morally ethical and responsible citizen for society, for the global world. Because the service learning can bring our students from the classroom setting to a real society, real world. And students, their presence and their problem-solving skills can bring something very important, very new to our society. And we care about all people, not only about the classroom setting, our study in the library, but these are something we bring to a real practice. You bring the theory, the knowledge to help people who are in need. We are always called to serve people, and our knowledge, our skills are always to be shared with people. I believe that the future lawyers, engineers, or doctors, and nurses, or whatever the work I'm going to do, should have this sense of service learning that we can share something with people, be compassionate, be sympathetic with people who are in need. On the other hand, also many people are concerned about the grade, social, material status. Say I got this degree, this grade here, and maybe good for my future study, future work, material life. But the important thing is what kind of value we learn from our class, from our study, and how can we bring something new to our people whom we work together, we serve together. So I think that the material needs or grade, one way is maybe important. On the other hand, we can go further to explore more the values from this learning, from this service, from this grade. In the traditional Chinese education system, the teacher and the faculty relationship is very, very strict. It's always like students and mentor or disciples and master relationships. Students always possibly receive the education from the teachers. We only memorize whatever teacher teaches us in the classroom. We focus not only about the special studies and professional training. We never or rarely challenge our teacher's authority. So whatever teacher teaches us is always authority. So that's why there's a problem about the students in China lack of creativity, critical thinking, and innovative skills because we lack of interaction with our teachers. We always listening to our teachers, write down the notes, and then memorize all the notes and take examination. We dare not to challenge our teachers. So that's very difficult for our students today to face the global issues. How do we solve the global problems? And how can we build a more friendly and more interactive way to learn from our teachers and from each other? In the early 20th century, the Jesuit have 3 universities in China. So they had a great contribution and impact on the Chinese education system. But after 1949, the Chinese Communist Party took over all the Jesuit universities and merged with those Communist Party schools and other universities in China. Technically, after 1949, there was no influence about the Jesuit education in China. But somehow since 1978, when the opening door policy began in China, so the Jesuit universities or some teachers and students were able to visit China to begin some special education exchange programs. I feel that the Jesuit education institutions in the States or European countries, other countries, have a lot of resources there, so we can bring much to the Chinese universities and Chinese society through joint programs, exchange programs, and other resources of exchange. So I think there's a great pool and a huge potential marketing for the Jesuit universities can do the work in Chinese universities and Chinese society.